Hey guys, this is B Junior from Endurance Productions. Going to do a little horror movie review for you today. I haven't been back to horror movies in a while, but I thought I watched this one the other night, and it needed to be reviewed bad, because this is one from my childhood years, or from my formative years, in the glory days of the mid-'80s there, when we're all going to the Friday the 13th every other year and the Nightmare on Elm Streets. This is one that we all saw, meaning me and my cousins. We all went to the movies and saw this one, both at the theaters and on home video when it came out. Passed around during that time frame of history that we all loved this movie, but it just kind of got forgotten for a long time. The movie is not Trick or Treat, which came out recently, but the movie is, of course, Trick or Treat from 1986. This DVD presentation, I'm going to get into the features here a little bit later, but it's been very, very hard to find. I don't know if it's just where I live or if it's just out of print right now, but I did manage to find a cheap copy for $3 recently, and I jumped at the chance to get it because I couldn't even find it on VHS it's been a decade plus since I've seen this movie, and it was kind of a real treat to sit down and watch it finally after so many years have went by. Watched it the other night, and I thought I'd just sit down here today and do a review. I've got some snow outside, not much to do, so I thought I'd do a few reviews. The movie centers around a character named Eddie Weinbauer, who you'll notice is the actor from yesteryear, Mark Price. He used to be on Family Ties, I believe, with Michael J. Fox and all those 80s sitcoms there. The movie centers around him. He's sort of like a regular teenager. He's into rock music. I can relate to him really big time, because I was in the whole, during that time frame, Def Leppard was around, Guns N' Roses, you name it, Metallica was around, Megadeth, all these, Motley Crue, you name it, they were all out big time during that time frame, and all the kids at some point or another was listening to that music, because it's just the music that was out there at that time. This movie centers around, let me talk a little bit about the story, and then I'll get into the features of the DVD, and I'll give you my final grade on it. As I said before, it was a real treat to go back and watch this movie, and it's just like, in my opinion, it's gotten forgotten. And this movie, where everybody in the horror genre, from what I understand, is chomping at the bit for a proper DVD or even a Blu-ray release. I mean, heck, if you can have Night of the Creeps out on Blu-ray, you could definitely get Trick or Treat out on Blu-ray, or at least a proper DVD release. The story is basically this teenager who is like the world's biggest fan of a faux rocker, a la Vince Neil or any of these rock icons of the 80s. The rock icon Sammy Kerr is the character's name. Sammy Kerr, who is just your basic, or not basic, but he's just like a bigger than life rock star, big hair, the tight leather pants, the whole Bon Jovi look, whatever you want to call it. He dies in a hotel fire, and this kid is just distraught because he has a lot of problems at school. People pick on him. He's kind of an outcast. Well, he goes to see the local DJ, who's played by Gene Simmons in the movie. Gene Simmons plays this role pretty good, but he's only in it for like 2 scenes. Don't get your hopes up. He's not a real main supporting character or anything. He's mainly just there to kind of sell the movie because of his rock and roll background. He gives him the master copy, the LP, yes, the record, of Sammy Kerr's last sessions in the studio. And well, the big fad back then was some lyrics could be heard if you played the needle backwards on the record and stuff like that. It's kind of like a sales gimmick to sell records. And I believe there was some in the 80s that could do that, but in the process you just tore up your records, and I don't know, that's a story for another day. But anyway, that's the fad in this movie. He goes and plays the record backwards, and he gets these messages from Sammy Kerr to either help him or protect him, but it starts to go awry because Sammy Kerr actually finds a way to come out of the music through the speakers, through the electricity, and sort of like a ghost figure that basically comes out, and well, shenanigans and hijinks ensue after that, and the regular teens line up for the slaughter and all that. And it's just a fun movie. It's just entertaining. You don't take it seriously. It's just a good little piece of the 80s too, and that's why I really like it. The DVD presentation though, guys, this is where the review is going to take a little bit of a nosedive in a way. The DVD, I'm glad that we have it, because I'm happy that we have it. But guys, it's a dreaded full screen version. There's not a widescreen version out there to my knowledge yet, at least in the US copies. It's Dolby Digital 2.0 stereo. Says it's digitally mastered, but guys, it's grainy. I mean, it's just like, it looks like a VHS rip. The sound is pretty decent in it though. They do kind of bounce the sound from one speaker to another on the front of the television set, because I think that was part of the gimmick when you went and saw it at the movies. Because when Sammy Kerr talks through the speakers in the movie, it kind of bounces from one side to the other. The cover art sucks, guys, because they sell it like it's Ozzy Osbourne and Gene Simmons' movie. It really isn't. Ozzy Osbourne turns in a very, very glorified cameo in the movie, and Gene Simmons is probably in a total of 2 scenes, amounting to about 4 minutes worth of screen time. Not to, put the fire out with that or anything, but the movie is pretty decent. I mean, I wouldn't recommend it if I didn't think it was good. It's just a good little piece of horror yesteryear. Special effects are good and practical. They got good animated electricity effects in the movie. It's an old Dino De Laurentiis joint production. It was filmed down here in North Carolina, in the backyard. So I think you'll enjoy it. The actor turned director, Charles Martin Smith, who you saw in Untouchables and other supporting roles, comedic roles, he directs this movie, and he's got a good direction style. From what he can direct horror. I mean, I have to give props where props are due. I don't know if he ever went on and did any more, but there again, just a good sound little horror movie from the 80s. If you want something a little different that centers around rock and roll music and it's just good fun, except none other than Trick or Treat, just don't be dissuaded by this cover art. Hopefully one day they'll release it on Blu-ray and give it the original cover art from the VHS, which is superior to this one. I'm not a real big cover art wacko or fanatic or anything about cover art, but this one really stinks, guys. I have to say it. They need to do something about that and put out a proper DVD release. Other than that, that's my major gripe. I like the movie, and I'm glad to have what I have. So if you can find it maybe on eBay, it's probably the best place to find it, because it's out of print, I think, and so best bet's going to be able to find a used copy of it, maybe on a VHS or something. You won't be disappointed. Try it out, draw your own conclusions. This is B Junior. I'll see you next time. Take care, guys.